Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freaks with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Each episode is about a specific movie, which we'll get into in a little bit. But first, it's time for the fan vote. That's right, it's Tay's episode, and that means that the fan vote is happening right now in the Discord, probably when you're listening to this on the weekend that it is released. And the four movies that you can choose from are Food Fight, recommended by Squid Daddy. I still have his old name written down here. I should probably change that. Hourglass Sanatorium, which was recommended by David Lopan. XXX, which was recommended by P2, the Vin Diesel movie, by the way, not a pornographic film. And Starship Troopers, which was nominated by Iovio Gaming / The Pickle Man / rest in peace. I don't know if he's still on YouTube anymore, but it was recommended and it's still on our list, just showing how long it's been around. So if you want to vote for any of those movies, head over to the Ferret Nation Discord. Link will be in the description below, and you can vote in the Film Freaks section on the Discord. And if you join the Discord, just say, hey, I'm here for the voting, and that's all you gotta do. If not, we'll probably kick you, because we've had a bot problem these past few months. Let's go ahead and jump into the movie. I'm sorry, into the... Who's here? I'm messing this up. I think I got Ash for brains. I am YemmytheFerret the Dragon, and I'm here with...
I am Greedy Waffles.
I'm Taymation.
I'm Razor Yemmy, you're rubbing off on me, right?
We all have Ash for brain. How are we all doing today, minus the Ash?
Definitely still feels like ash here.
Ooh.
It's 97 degrees here.
We are officially in fall here in Ohio.
Yeah, I know. Luckies. Someday I'll be in that weather.
But that day is not today.
Nope.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would you rather live where you're living now or in dragon-controlled London?
I definitely would rather live here than in our movie from 2002, Reign of Fire by Rob Bowman. A little synopsis in case anyone missed watching it. In post-apocalyptic England, an American volunteer and a British survivor team up to fight off a brood of fire-breathing dragons seeking to return to global dominance after centuries of rest underground. It stars Matthew McConaughey, Christian Bale, Isabel Scorupco, Gerard Butler, Alexander Siddig, and many more. Let's start with what do you guys think of like the visual effects? Do you think they held up pretty well? Because I do.
For the most part, it held up. I'm in the same camp as Greedy. It's like here and there it was a little bit iffy.
Oh yeah. I mean, you always got a
Terrible,
few
though.
little spots.
Right.
But
I think it really suffered toward the end when they were in broad daylight, as it usually does.
Yeah.
When that guy was one-on-one with the dragon at the end, there's that like burst of fire. I was like, oof.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey also being on the top of that building was also very much green screen.
Oh yeah, that definitely was green screen. Fun fact is, all the fire you saw was legit fire. They didn't do any 3D fire.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
So, yeah.
I mean, for all the visual effects that they used, there was also a fair amount of special effects in there too. Like, I was very pleased with the overall, like the dragon that like gets blown in half and they're like going through the guts to find the egg or whatever, and then like the entire like castle itself that they're living in is also like really fleshed out. Like I was very impressed by the special effects, and most of the visual effects were also very nice too.
Yeah, I agree. I think there was a lot of love and care into this movie, and I can't remember if I mentioned it at the end of the podcast or after we stopped recording, but like these designs for the dragons is basically what Hollywood has been using pretty much ever since.
Yeah, yeah. Even in like How to Train Your Dragon, they look very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah, Harry Potter, Game of Thrones, they're all basically the same because they did a really good job of making it look like, an actual animal and not just some fantasy thing.
Right.
Fantasy thing.
Yeah, I don't know. Like something you go, well, it doesn't look real, but it's not real, so it's fine. I don't know. I think, like I said, I know they like. Nice thing about having the DVD is, I got to watch some of the behind the scenes like features, and they talked about like, designing these dragons and like they looked at a bunch of different types of animals. So it's like when it's on the ground, it's supposed to be kind of like a cheetah. When in the air, it's more like a bat, and just a bunch of other different little things, which I think they did, especially for 2002, pretty good.
Yeah, lots of good work put into it. Lots of good research, as you just talked about. Yeah, I think making them more lifelike makes them a bit more. I guess I don't know if scary is the right word, but just kind of like menacing. The one scene that like when you recommended this movie, I was like, oh boy, dragons and 2002 and Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey. Oh boy, here we go. But I really got into it once those people are being attacked by the dragon in the tomato patch or whatever you want to call it. Like
their little garden.
That's where I really got into it. I started to get like those intense feelings, and then like the firefighter trucks came or whatever you want to call them, and that was a really cool design. And I think that I was not expecting to get sucked in by this movie, but once that scene like happened and was progressing, I was like, okay, I'm in it. Like, let's go.
What did we think of the guy who kept just like, no, I'm going to the garden. I'm going to the garden. Where it's like they're giving all these reasons not to, and it's just like I get they're hungry, but I don't know. I thought the guy when he finally died, I was like, good.
Yeah, he kind of went out unceremoniously at the end.
Yeah, a lot of them did.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that guy was completely in the wrong, and obviously Christian Bale's character or Quinn was proven right on all accounts.
Yeah,
I guess there is a pretty good line in there where it's something about like, well, something about having kids, and he doesn't have a kid, and
yeah.
Obviously he'd be thinking about it in a different way if he had children of his own rather than just looking after all these orphan children. But then again, it's like, well, technically he is like he's doing the whole Darth Vader thing with his buddy there. Like he's pretty much doing everything that a dad would do.
Yeah.
I don't know if that argument is really that sound, but I think it's a good moment where he's reflecting on why the other guy would do what he did, and I guess it's why he didn't like outright just kick him out or whatever.
Yeah, and I think they do a real good job of like giving the characters like what's the word I'm looking for? They're not just like doing stupid things to like for plot where you're like no one would do that in real life. Like they gave them a good. My brain's not working.
It's the ash. It's the ash brain.
They give them good like reasons to like reasoning, I guess. Like they're not just they're fleshed out. That's what I'm trying to say, I think.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of getting deep into these characters. Obviously the biggest ones being Christian Bale's character and Denton Von Zahn. Like obviously you get a lot of time with them, and I think that they flesh out the world just enough where it's like they kind of start it in the generic place that you kind of expect it to, with like modern London, and there's the dragons, and there goes my mother, right? But they flash forward and they kind of just throw you into the world after the like apocalypse happens pretty much. And I think it kind of has like that feeling of like a Fallout game, like Fallout 3, where, or even actually more like Fallout 4, where you're rushed to the bunker. You see the world beforehand, and then you're rushed to the bunker, and then you come out, 300 years later or whatever it is, and now the world is dead. It kind of gives you that feeling, and I think that it's pretty effective. Obviously, you don't need like a hour-long sequence where it's like, here's London in its prime, ooh boy, because we kind of know what it looks like anyway. So I guess it's pretty effective when the scene transitions and they're all underground working on those pipes, and he goes up to the top for the first time. It's just a barren, gray wasteland. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think they did really great casting for Christian Bale as a kid. I know like we don't see him for very long, but
Yeah.
like you automatically know who it is, and I thought they did a really good job.
I did too. I actually even looked up to see him like, what else has this kid been in? And he's only been in like 4 things, and the last thing was like 2014, and then he just stopped, I guess. And that's fine.
Wonder.
Yeah, and then I guess the Jared, the kid that Christian Bale like actually like did adopt, basically. This was it. This is the only thing he's been in, and I thought he did really well. And I'm like, I don't know why he didn't do it more. I guess he just was like, I don't want to.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, the one picture they have for him on Letterboxd is just a screenshot from the movie.
Oh yeah, for Quinn, young Quinn.
Yeah, well, not young Quinn. Jared. You said, yeah, Jared.
Oh yeah, Jared. Well, both of them I've noticed. They actually just have a screenshot from Reign of Fire.
That's when you know that they just haven't really done anything
Yeah,
else.
they just didn't care. Which I'm surprised because they did pretty good. Like I didn't look like, oh, these kids can't act.
Yeah, a lot. Like I thought the casting in general was really good.
Yeah.
When Matthew McConaughey showed up in the movie, I didn't even realize it was him. Like,
Me either.
I was so surprised when I paused I had to go leave and watch the Browns game, unfortunately. So I paused the movie and it said Matthew McConaughey as this character. I'm like, what? I was waiting for him to show up for so long. I guess I'm so used to his new like Southern twang style that he has. I don't know.
Well, yeah, he usually kind of has tousled like curly-ish hair. When I read somewhere that like I look too much like Christian Bale, so I'm gonna shave my head.
It worked though. It worked.
Yeah, it did really like. Yeah, it took me a while. The first time I watched it too to realize, oh, that's who that is. Obviously, I've seen it multiple times now, and I know. But...
Yeah, I'm not gonna dog on like the kids in the movie, like other than young Quinn and Jared, but
yeah, I actually really like some of the young kids, like when they're reacting to their little Star Wars story, like just make me laugh because they're just like so over dramatic.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like it's every scene with like the kids is always, it's almost like the director was like, well, they're not doing enough, so we gotta really boost this. And he was like, just go all out.
Go hog.
Yeah, the one kid who was like kind of center frame during the Darth Vader Empire Strikes Back scene was very distracting, like with how over exaggerated his emotions were.
It still makes me laugh. I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's also not like gonna ruin the movie either.
Oh yeah. Well, they're just so invested in Star Wars. Don't you remember how you felt the first time you watched Star Wars?
I do.
Was it that?
No, but I was pretty excited, when the pod racing started,
Yeah.
I thought that was actually a really nice touch. Like, they're taking something that's like super popular, especially for 2002, which is Empire Strikes Back and the Star Wars franchise. And they're doing like this little like Shakespearean play. I thought that was so fun. And the funny thing is that, I don't know, 10, 15 years in the future, an author would actually be commissioned to write all like, was there 9 movies now? All the Star Wars movie as a Shakespearean play. So I don't know if they were inspired by this or if it's just 2 different things happening relatively around the same time. But I've read those Shakespearean Star Wars books. They're pretty fun to read, but 2, it definitely reminded me of what they did here with like being kind of a Shakespearean play that they were putting on.
Yeah.
I just realized one of the Gerald Butler's name is Creedy in this. I should have been Creedy Waffles.
Creedy Waffles.
You should have been
Oh,
Creedy Waffles. Then he would have died.
Well,
Oh,
part of me has already died. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's fair. That's all of us. We're millennials.
Gerard Butler, famously the Phantom of the Opera.
Do you know who wrote those Shakespeare books?
if you go on Amazon and just write Star Wars Shakespeare, you'll probably get all of them.
Okay.
I'm not sure who wrote them. I think it might be a few different writers, but they all had pretty much the same. I mean, they're copying off of Shakespearean literature, so it's not like it's going to be too drastically different between authors, But,
yeah. Let's see.
Well, what's one? Doth Empire striketh back, or whatever they called it.
Verily, A New Hope.
Yeah, verily, A New Hope.
This was written by Ian Dosher, which is not one of the writers for this movie. So I was just curious.
I can only imagine that maybe someone in the inside of like the Star Wars ship that they have going was like, this was really fun when they did that in Reign of Fire. Let's just flesh that out.
Yeah.
I last time when you recommended the movie, you said something about firefighters teaming up with military or something like that to fight off the dragons, right? I think you were reading like an IMDb version of the synopsis.
No, I read the Letterboxd one.
Oh, did you? I don't know where I saw that then. Maybe it was the Amazon Prime.
Maybe
Amazon Prime description. It was something like. It was something like, firefighters in the year 2020 fight off dragons, and I was kind of expecting like firefighters like for throughout the entire movie, but there's really like one scene where like they actually do quote unquote firefighting,
Yeah.
and it's a cool scene. Don't get me wrong, I love that whole scene, but my expectations were a bit different because of this description on Amazon, which I think is woefully like just wrong, I guess, because it's not just firefighters. It's like, it's my expectations were like, oh, they're gonna be fighting dragons with water through the whole movie, but midway through they're using harpoon guns and parachutes and all that stuff.
Firefighter comes up and he's like, and you can use my ox
and my fire extinguisher
and my water hose. Sir, that's just your penis.
Same thing.
What'd you guys think? I don't know. I don't have any other thoughts. I do have thoughts.
I was gonna say, what do you all think of the whole parachute idea of them like dropping down on top of it with the
net
chains or whatever? Like I feel like that
that actually worked.
I don't know. I feel like that's like a 1 in 1,000 chance to work,
Yeah.
And obviously it didn't work in this movie.
I mean, they said it. They've talked about how it's worked before, but the one time they show it, it doesn't work.
I'm sure it's worked many times. Wink.
Yeah, I mean, the dragon just shrugged off the nets like so easily.
Yeah, that whole scene also reminded me of Godzilla from like 2014, 2015, where they do the sky jump towards Godzilla. And that also was kind of a dumb idea, let's be honest. But this was even more dumb because they didn't even have any obviously they had parachutes still, but like your chances of survival when you're parachuting down are like 0 when a dragon's in the air. And I love that visual of the guy like breaking through the clouds and the fog, and he just goes right into the ground. It was great.
Yeah. I'm just for that guy. I'm thinking like once you saw the nets go, I would have just like, okay, we're good, and pulled the parachute at that point. And then the dragon got on free and eating him, like that would like I don't know, just like going, okay, I'm just gonna keep falling.
Yeah, lost track of time in the air,
Yeah, 17 seconds. That's all you got, bud.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a cool idea. Sure, it's a cool idea, but in practicality, kind of dumb. kind of a dumb idea.
Oh, there is one line in the movie that I find so dumb, and it's at the very end when Christian Bale finally kills the male dragon, and then she's like, he always knew you had it in you, or something like stupid, like no he didn't. Like she's talking about Van Zandt.
Yeah.
And she's like, he always knew you could do it. It's like, I highly doubt that. He met this guy yesterday, maybe 2 days ago,
3 days ago at that point.
Yeah, and like he couldn't do it. I don't know. That line at the end, I'm just like, they should have just taking that line out. That line was dumb.
Well, yeah, they needed some sort of cliche in there to tie it all together, you know.
Yeah. I guess.
The other
could've found
thing,
something better.
the other thing I want to complain about real quick about like the marketing, I guess, for this movie is the cover for this one is dragons burning like London with helicopters flying all around. Why did we not get like a couple seconds of like helicopters fighting dragons? Like, come on. That
In the
would've been-
flashback.
yeah, have like a flashback or just have like throughout the news clips, just have like
Yeah.
some chopper versus dragon action, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they
Be
talk
great.
about how they use that stuff like artillery and whatnot, missiles to kill the dragons, but it end up just doing more damage to the land. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
it
they-
killed a few dragons, but
We launched a nuke which destroyed millions of acres of land, and we killed one dragon.
so that's a win. It's basically like what Matthew McConaughey's character says at the end. It's like, we lost 3 men for 1 dragon. At this rate, we'll have them beaten in 300 years.
And then he loses like 50 men to
Yeah.
one dragon.
And then and then they're like, well, we just need 3.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they do go back to 3, don't they? Because they go,
Yeah.
yeah, it ends in 3. So
Well, technically, it ends in 2.
well, yeah.
Well, they only needed one person with the bow to kill
Yeah,
the dragon.
they went during a magic hour. The thing couldn't focus good, and they just shot it with an explosive missile. Arrow.
A piss missile.
I think it did look pretty cool though,
Oh yeah.
when it just goes right down its throat and then explodes out the sides and its head just pops off. Pretty cool.
I also like the I like how they did like the fire breathing aspect of the dragons. Like they have 2 different mixtures in their mouths that spray
Yeah.
out and ignite the flame.
Mix-
I thought that was
mix
a really
napalm.
good idea.
Yeah.
Because
They
that's
have-
kind of how the real. I mean, there are. Isn't there like a? I'm pretty sure there's like a bug or something that can create fire.
I don't know.
Or
I know they got the
maybe
idea.
it's like I'm thinking that this was in a dinosaur book that I had when I was a kid. I think there was like a ancient creature that could breathe fire, but it was like a bug. It was like some sort of beetle or something. Someone fact check me on that. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I don't
It was
know.
like a book
They-
that was like, where are the dinosaurs? And I was like 5 years old. It's for some reason stuck with me.
Well,
Like
this was
something
based
Yemmy
off.
saw on a Facebook. Some Facebook mom reposted it.
Yeah. This was based on the spitting cobra, though, is where they got the idea
Ah.
for that.
That's a good. Yeah, see, there you go.
Yeah.
Good research gets good animal designs, good creature designs.
Right? Yeah. No, I think, like I said, I really like their designs for the dragon. Obviously, Hollywood did because they're just like, well,
This is ours now.
this is ours. Yeah. Like the rest of the movie, like it didn't do like super well. I don't even know if it made back its budget, but
Which is a shame because
yeah.
this movie's good.
No, like I said, it's got a solid 3 on Letterboxd. So
I think that's even low. I mean,
I do. I agree.
I mean, I don't know how
I've
y'all
A lot
feel,
of
loved
low
but
ratings.
yeah,
I-
I've always loved this movie. So.
I mean, this is my first time watching it, and I was like really surprised. I was like, by the end of the movie, I was like really into it. I don't. Maybe it's just like, ooh, cool dragons, macho men, shooting dragons with harpoons. Maybe that's why. But I was just very, very into this. Like I said, from the starting of that tomato scene where the dragon starts swooping down and
Yeah.
to the end, I was very much invested.
So it cost 60 million to make, and it made 82 million back.
Oh,
So-
good.
Wow.
So it did make a bit of a profit, but yeah, it had mixed reviews. Some people didn't care for it. I'm like, why though? It's like
well acted. It's got good special effects, especially for 2002. It's got good
Yeah.
CGI in there, especially for 2002. The
Yeah.
concept's pretty cool and unique. They really fleshed out the world building. I mean,
Maybe it was
yeah.
just not at the right time.
May-
Yeah,
I guess
probably.
reviews are still recent ones are still bad, but I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, I was looking at the recent ones, and they're all 4, 4.5. Oh, here's a 2.5, 2.5, a half, 2.5.
I don't know. I feel like if you're rating something a half star, like
You got to walk out on it or something, you know.
Well, no, I just feel like they're maybe being facetious, or they just maybe they've never seen a truly bad movie, but like sit them down and watch I don't know, The Room or something, like then you'll see what a half star really is.
Yeah.
I don't people's rating scales always kind of make me laugh a little bit, because there's some people who they'll rate something super low, and then they'll like, you know, a week later they watch, like, I don't know, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie, and they're like, oh, this is like a 5 out of 5. This is so good, dude. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You rated Goodfellas a 3, but you're giving Five Nights at Freddy's a 5? Are you real?
Yeah, I'm looking at the person who gave it a half star, and they have a few reviews on here, most recent, and they're just all, yeah, a star and a half, a star, and then 4.5 for the Kung Fu Cult Master.
Oh, let's
It's
go.
a new Borderlands movie, a 5 out of 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so here were some reviews. Oh, yeah, Star Trek Nemesis the Half Past Dead, Sweet Home. Yeah, I don't know. They just give all movies really, really low.
Well, at least
Really
they have their
low.
niche. They have their niche.
Yeah.
Is this
I
like
mean-
being hate reviewed? Like, is there something that happened with one of these actors or Rob Bowman?
Well,
No, I don't think so. Well,
yeah.
Rob Bowman did Elektra after this, and then never got a job again.
Yeah, took the wrong contract there. But yeah, I mean, besides for maybe Matthew McConaughey, I know he had something happen. But other than that,
He
Yeah,
gave Behind Enemy Lines a 1 star.
all right, we need to get off the.
Yeah.
We need to get off
Yeah,
that train.
just- yeah, ignore that guy.
Seriously, yeah.
If you're listening to this podcast, stop reviewing. No, I'm kidding.
It's always funny to see, like, if you go to someone's profile and you sift through it, you go, wow, this is kind of weird. It's always funny to see how other people do things. And you know, we're not saying like you should, if you think that Reign of Fire is a 1 out of 10, 1 out of 5, that you should not put your thoughts online. But actually, no, don't put your thoughts online. We don't need that.
Please avoid sharing your thoughts altogether.
No negativity.
I will not have any hate for Reign of Fire in this podcast.
Yeah. This one review. The film takes place in 2020. And even though we are only halfway through the year, this was written in 2020, don't worry, there's still plenty of time for the dragons to show up.
I mean, if
Yeah,
there was any year
2020,
that
yeah.
that dragons would show up, I feel like
Yeah.
2020
It would
was
have
the
been
year.
2020. Yep.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
See, that's what no one got it. The dragons were a metaphor for the pandemic, and no one knew that at the time.
Damn. Yeah.
Damn, you actually could easily make that argument.
Yeah, you could. Didn't turn out exactly the same way but yeah, a lot of people were still dead. So
Yeah.
Oh man.
And then we were
But
all
wait,
kind of
there's
cut off
more.
from each other, and yeah.
it's always funny these older movies that are based in, like, 2020, even like 2030. And like we're here now, it's like, hey, where's my fucking Android? Like, hello, hey, where's my flying car? Back to the Future, please, thank you.
I want my robot, please.
Where's my dragons fighting choppers? Hello.
Where's my kaiju coming out of the Pacific Rim? I don't know what year that movie takes place, and I can't remember.
I feel like it's just like,
Yeah, I think it's just the year it came
yeah,
out.
yeah,
It's just an alternate history or timeline.
yeah. We watched Soylent Green a while ago now, and that's
Oh,
like
yeah.
based in 2020, right, or something around there.
Yeah,
It's just
maybe.
funny. It's funny to see where people thought that the technology was going to go. That's why I love like the analog aesthetic so much, and like Alien and that kind of stuff, because like, damn, did we miss out on like one of the coolest aesthetics ever, not having the analog sci-fi aesthetic like be our norm. Like, we have curved fucking TVs. Who wants that? I want a CRT TV with green, with that green aesthetic, that green numbers scrolling down, and they're like, come on. Well, maybe I don't want that, but in if I could dip my toe into that world, I would totally live there for maybe a couple hours and be like, "This is great.
Hours.
Now I'm going back."
I'm out.
Well, as soon as the facehuggers start hatching, it's like, okay, well, we can go back now. I have my fun.
Nope, too late. Too late at that point. You're stuck there now.
Yeah, you're stuck.
Would anyone go to Ash, London for a little bit just to see how it is? Take in the sights.
No, I don't think I would.
I'm good.
Good.
I can watch a movie of it, and that's good enough.
Yeah, usually I'm kind of partial to like the the apocalyptic, like overgrown type stuff, like The Last of Us and stuff like that. They do a great job of like the overgrown looking stuff and dilapidated buildings. This movie obviously is much more just like, and it's destruction and that's it. So the aesthetic is not like, I don't mind like the gray landscape, like burned ash landscape, but the destroyed buildings at the end of it was. Yeah, it just kind of felt like any other, like it almost felt like I was watching Transformers in that setting where it's like, oh, it's just a destroyed destroyed city or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't mind just because like they actually gave a good reason. Like the dragons eat ash, so it's like, of course they're gonna burn everything.
But those buildings were still standing, some of them.
Well, that's because stone doesn't burn very well.
I
Think about
suppose.
that. Yeah, it's right.
I almost wonder like how the other parts of the world were doing, because obviously Matthew McConaughey's character comes from America. He's Kentucky, comes from Kentucky, and I think it would have been interesting to like, let's say this did become like a quote unquote franchise. It would be interesting to be like Reign of Fire,
San Andreas,
Washington D.C. or San Andreas. Or like Reign of Fire, Tokyo or something like that. I think it would be kind of cool to see how each civilization handles it.
Yeah. Although, I mean, it couldn't ever end in like, this is the only one that can end happily because they killed the only male.
That's true. Yeah.
So they stopped the dragons. Though no, the other ones of the dragons just keep coming.
Well, eventually they'd stop because they don't have the male to do the fish thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. You could just make it all take place around the same time, and then suddenly they're just like, the dragon just stopped. Cool.
Yeah, the idea of like just waiting it out that Christian Bale had, it's like, it's a good idea on paper, but when more and more keep popping up,
Yeah. Although you see there at the end the males eating females, so it's like they're running out of ash, so they're eating each other. So they might have been able to wait it out for a little bit, and the male would have just gone back to sleep.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, that's what he did originally. They burned the world and then went to sleep, and all it took was a bit of railroad construction, underground railroad construction, to get him back.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is pretty nice. Let me eat that. I do appreciate that they didn't go like the Jurassic Park or Jurassic World style where they just show like people getting eaten left and right. Like even though a few people do get chomped, it's not like a main thing of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think that would have made it maybe a bit too campy. To have like dragons gulping down like thousands of people on screen.
Yeah, no, I like I said that they kept it like to a minimum. They fast forward through all the people being burned and eaten alive, and we're just like, nope, there's just some few survivors left.
Yeah, it's kind of like Planet of the Apes in that way, where, well, at least the newer movies, where it's like, okay, we have a movie of like the prequel, and then the next one happens, and everything, like all the main stuff has already happened and off screen, and you're just kind of like thrown into whatever the world is now, right? So it's nice. Plus, it's also nice that they didn't have to like have 80 minutes of dialogue just explaining everything, all the background story. They just kind of like were like, and the dragons came, and they breathe fire, and we're all that's left. And go.
Go. And then there was that random like another like recap in the middle where there's like he's like just thinking about the time again, where it's like, this didn't give us any new information from the first little montage, but
Memba dis?
yeah.
I
Remember this
remember.
from 30 minutes ago, just in case.
Did you forget that his mom died?
I do like that they go back to the elevator where she died. And he's just like, oh, this is where she died. And Van Zandt's like, use it. Use that anger.
That's what we call trauma healing.
Yeah.
Extreme trauma healing.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, in terms of like a October movie, on a scale of like 10 being the most scary thing ever and 0 being like, the like Winnie the Pooh, where would you rate this on the scarometer for?
What about the newest Winnie the Pooh though? The horror one.
Oh, Blood and Honey. I mean,
Yeah.
well, we don't talk about that one.
Probably like a 3, 2. I don't know.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. It wasn't like, it's not really a scary movie. Like, it's going to be a little intense at times, but I don't think it ever, I don't know if I would consider it necessarily a Halloween movie.
Unless you
More
have like a
thrilling.
dragon phobia or something.
Yeah.
That's true.
I have a phobia of, well, you could have a phobia of bats. I'm sure that would trigger that.
True.
Phobia of being burned alive.
Yeah, that's true.
That is true.
Maybe just a phobia of the color gray.
Yeah.
It's true. That's the most frightening thing of all.
Ash phobia?
Astrophobia.
Astrophobia, there you go.
Yeah, in terms of like horror, I guess it's pretty low on that scale. But like Tay said, it does have its moments where you get a little intense feeling here and there, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with a little bit of intensity here and there. Keeps
Yeah.
the story going.
Yeah. Keeps that blood flow going.
Keeps you interested.
It does. It
This movie
definitely
could have
does.
fallen into the trap as many other like big monster movies like Godzilla that we've talked about before, where the action just kind of stops and the movie grinds to a halt, and you're going through all these like dialogues of nothing, and then eventually, finally, the action comes back around. But this one had a very steady pace to it. I didn't feel it drag really at all. And by the time that I was done watching, I was like, "Wow, that was quick." They didn't waste your time, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought they did pretty good with that as well. Like I said, I mean, there was, like, I don't know if we needed the second montage of what happened, but other than that, that would be like my only, like, that could have been cut.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's so many of those like mecha octopus versus mega shark kind of movies, and you see one of them and you kind of seen them all, but essentially what happens is they have like I don't know, some sort of action in the beginning of the movie, whether it's actually the mecha shark or mega octopus, I don't know. But they usually have some sort of big action, and in the middle of the movie is just like a bunch of boring bullshit, and then at the end of the movie they're like, and now they're fighting, and then it ends. And it's like, okay, that's great. You wasted like an hour of my time for a 5-minute fight scene at the very end. The thing that the movie is named after, like it was only 5 minutes where they actually versed each other.
Yeah, like Kong versus, or yeah, Godzilla versus Kong or whatever.
Godzilla versus
Yeah,
Kong.
but it
Well, I
didn't
guess
take
they
that
did.
route.
They did have a few fights, I guess, throughout the movie.
Yeah, they slapped each other back and forth a couple
Yeah,
times.
they had a few little slappies.
But I would say more so like Batman versus Superman,
Oh,
where they
yeah.
have like even though the fight scene is good, in comparison to the rest of the movie, like the fight scene is like actually a bright spot in that movie, but it only lasts for like, I don't know, 2 minutes, 3 minutes max.
And then Martha.
Right.
Oh, no, yeah, no, I think like I said, they did a good job of pacing this out where, you get action, then you get a little like world building and learning about the people who are surviving this horrible apocalypse, and then you get more action, and then, I like the part where they they go to try to kill the male dragon, and Christian Bale's like, "Don't, you're gonna bring it back." And sure enough, he just kills everybody, and then
He's right
comes
again.
comes and destroys the castle.
Yeah. Very medieval.
Yeah,
Nice visual too of like the dragon pouring fire into the top, like.
yeah,
That was
too bad.
nice.
And yeah, I knew that Gerard Butler was gonna die as soon as he went through that door at the end of that
Yeah.
scene, because I'm like, look,
Yeah.
man, that dragon is pouring fire into there like water, like there's no way this dude is living. And what do you know? He
Well,
takes
I
like
mean,
3 steps and he's like, oopsie.
yeah. I like that they didn't drag it out. It was just like, well, there was no, oh, is he gonna die? It's just 3 steps out. He did.
He's gone. He gone. Yeah.
And the scene after, Christian Bale trying to hold it together while trying to calm the kids down and stuff. Like, I like that scene.
Yeah. I
They
mean,
did.
Christian
Good
Bale
job.
may take some slop in his repertoire, has some slop in his repertoire, but he's a good actor in most of the movies that you see him in. Like,
Yeah.
he does give it his all, even if he's in like the most schlocky thing ever. He's got a long
Well-
list of movies too.
Yeah. It's like, anything else that anyone can think of they wanted to touch on? Oh, I did have one little thing. Like, I like that, they're like, we're running out of fuel, and then they keep just sending the helicopter out instead of like, transporting it on a truck or something.
Yeah.
It's like, well, there's your problem.
Yeah. It seemed like the whole fuel thing was just a ruse,
Yeah.
because they never seemed to run out of fuel. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
dragon running out of fire. It's just like, what?
Also, kind of wanted them to use the tanks like an actual like we have one
As a
shell.
tank.
Yeah, just use the tank.
Use the tank as a tank.
Fire one shell. Just
Yeah.
that'd be would have been a cool visual to have like a dragon swooping down. They just like fire the tank shell right into it.
Mouth.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, how did he kill that one dragon that like was swooping down? Like, they had all the skydivers. Like, they should have used the tank for that. Like, that would have been.
Yeah, but the harpoon was cooler, and it was more intense
oh.
because he was chasing after Christian Bale
I guess, yeah.
on the big sack of meat. Does anyone else have anything they want to add to this movie?
No, I don't think so.
I'm good.
Me too.
All right, Tay, start us off with final thoughts and rating.
Well, as somebody who's obviously, I've seen this movie since it came out in 2002. Like, I've always enjoyed it. I think it's really cool. It's well done. The graphics, for the most part, still hold up. Like, the 3D models look pretty damn good. Obviously they're using the fire effects and everything is all, what's the word? Practical. So, they hold up really well, and I think it's a fun story. I think it's just kind of a cool idea, and I think they executed it pretty damn well. Acting was good. Cinematography was fine. Like, nothing in there that I would caught my attention as being bad or anything. That's not necessarily like the best in the world, but not bad. Overall, yeah, I think I'd give it a 4 out of 5. Out of 5.
Nice.
Very nice. I didn't think it was terrible.
Let's go! All right. Woo!
No, I thought the acting was superb, and kind of sad to learn that the kids didn't really go on in their acting careers, because I feel like they picked really great kid actors too, which is not easy. Visual effects for the time were pretty good. Like, all in all, it was pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. These kind of movies normally aren't my cup of tea,
You're indifferent.
but I appreciate them in their own respectful way. So I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
All right. Well, as I've already said. It was a surprising, fun watch. The concept seems kind of dumb on paper, and maybe it is to some people, but I was really having fun with it. I was pretty invested pretty early on. Acting was pretty good. Casting was also really well done. The casting was perfect, I thought, in the movie. I like the story. I like the world building. And you know what? I'll say it because no one else will. I like the dragons.
Oh, I liked the dragon. I thought that
Yeah, the
was
dragons.
That was just a joke.
Oh yeah, Yummy, you like dragons?
How about dragging these nuts across your face? Got
Got
him.
'em.
I got us.
I'm gonna give it 4 dragons out of 5.
All right. Well, They didn't play "Ring of Fire" by Johnny Cash, so 1 out of 5. No, I'm kidding.
If there's one movie that needed that song.
Yeah. Literally, just as the dragons are burning the city, just play "Ring of Fire." No, I'm kidding.
They did play. Something Fire by Jimi Hendrix. Does that?
Nope. All right.
That was a good fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good acting. Good acting, good effects. The aging of some of the fire, like Emmy said, when it was sunny out or bright out, just didn't age well, but it's all right. Movie was it was all right. I mean, it was a fun watch. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 dragons out of 5.
Hey, you cut one in half.
Yeah.
Harpoon gun.
Yeah. With the bow, no.
Yeah. Perfect.
Well, before we have Ray pick the next movie, does anyone have any small recommendations? Sorry, Tay, I cut you off there. What did you want to say?
Oh no, you're fine. I was just saying that I'm good. I'm glad y'all at least liked it.
Don't forget to wash your ash. Get it?
Got it. Ooh.
All back.
Got it.
My recommendation is there's a little game that was put out on PS5 pretty recently. It's an oldie but a goodie called Time Splitters 2, and it's only $10 on PlayStation. They re-released it with full trophy support, rewind feature, all that you need for it. Time Splitters 2 is one of the most complete packages for a first-person shooter ever, with both with a campaign, arcade mode versus bots, and challenge mode. It is so much fun, and I would recommend anyone who is a fan of like the PS2 era first-person shooters to try it out and see if you like it. It's one of my favorites of all time.
You're forgetting to pick that game up. Is there co-op? Is co-op?
I don't know if they have online co-op, but there is local co-op. Just like the old days. Greg Office and I used to stay over at night, and we tried to do all the challenges and all that stuff.
Which
Yeah,
probably
but you gotta
better.
go home by 9. I'm
Slumber
too old.
party
No,
at
I'm
Emmy's
kidding.
house.
Yay. I'd say a lot of games if they try to add like online like multiplayer, it ends up just screwing up stuff, because I'm just thinking of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. They just butchered that game. And
Yeah,
there's
it's
also
probably just not worth it for them to like make online servers for Time Splitters 2. But
yeah.
here's the fact. This is a actual fact. Time Splitters 2, the month that it came out, sold better than Concord, the AAA first-person shooter from Sony. So
Wasn't that the one that they just like immediately?
they shut it down after
Cancel-
2 weeks. Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then refunded people money and went, never mind, this game doesn't exist. You saw nothing.
Yeah, sweep it under the rug. You never saw anything.
Yeah. Do you know how much the physical copy of that game is selling for right now? It's like $150 to $200.
Wow.
Yeah, missed out on a money bag. But if you look at like this, the thing about eBay and those sites is you have to see like what recently sold and how much it sold for. So there could be 1,000 listings for Concord for $500, let's say, and you can go, oh, I have a copy of Concord, I can sell mine for $500. No, you can't. You have to look at the recent sales. What's the recent sale? Oh, it only sold for $50. You know,
No one wants to spend $500 on a shitty game that they immediately
you
went.
can't
"Yep,
even
this
play.
game's
Yeah.
shit."
Here's a $200 drink coaster for you.
Basically.
Any other recommendations?
Nope. No.
All right. Well, one more thing before Ray tells us what the next movie she's going to pick is. If you need a reminder, the fan vote is happening right now. The movies you can vote for are Food Fight, Hourglass Sanatorium, Triple X, and Starship Troopers. If you want to vote for any of those movies, swing over to the Discord. The poll should be running all weekend, and we'll see what wins. We'll see what our fate is next episode. Speaking of next episode, Ray of Positivity, what do you have for us?
Well, given that it is October and it is it's spooky season, but also a time for Day of the Dead and all that good stuff, I am choosing Pixar's Coco.
Yes,
Hey,
that's what I was
alright.
hoping it was gonna be. I like that movie. It's so good.
Ray, you're going to make me cry on Halloween.
Close to it. Coco came out in 2017. And it is about an aspiring musician, Miguel, confronted with his family's ancestral ban on music, enters the land of the dead to find his great-great-grandfather, a legendary singer. Directors are Lee Unkrich, Adrian Molina. Writers, Lee Unkrich, Jason Katz, and Matthew Aldrich. Stars Anthony Gonzalez, Gail Garcia Bernal, and Benjamin Bratt. And you can watch this on Disney Plus, Amazon Prime. I think that's it.
And Hulu now, apparently, because they own each other.
Hello. That's true.
So,
That's true. But I'm very excited. I was really excited when I found out that
Had this idea.
Yee.
No, I love Coco.
I do too.
I always love to have an excuse to watch it. So thank you.
I haven't actually seen this one since theaters, so it'll be a nice
It's
rewatch.
been a while for me too, so be nice
It's
to
beautiful.
watch it again.
It's so beautiful.
Yeah, I do remember loving this one, so very excited to watch it again.
Ray.
And if you, the listener, want to join the conversation, just make sure that you watch the movie before it comes out. No spoilers. We release these every 2 weeks, so you have 2 weeks after the release of this episode to watch the movie and enjoy our conversation next time around. All right, folks.
Alice watches the movies.
I don't know if Callus watches all the movies. It ain't a Film Freaks episode unless we bring up Callus at least once.
I had to.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's either watched or has watched 90% of the movies that we recommend. And if that's wrong, then well, paint me blue and call me babe.
You don't want to be right.
That's right. All right. Anyone else have anything they want to mention before we end this show?
Nope.
Nope.
All right. Well, I am YemmytheFerret, and I've been here with...
Greedy waffles.
Taymation.
Ray of Positivity.
And this has been another episode of Film Freaks with a Z. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Burn, burn, burn. The ring of fire. The ring of fire.
Don't
Get the
forget
ring
to
of
wash
fire.
your ash.
Last thing. Did you know that Johnny Cash was in Guitar Hero 5?
Sure did.
Pretty crazy.